Disco. All right, everybody. So I'm gonna walk you through this, and this is where the positive mental attitude is going to be super important. All right. As I was telling one of your classmates a minute ago, I have done this, and I've done this with two different math teachers. And if you count, actually, one time there were two math teachers in the room. So actually, three different math teachers I've done this with. And even the math teachers sometimes get a little mixed up, all right? They sometimes get a little bit confused. I, being the art teacher, very definitely gets confused. And so it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit confusing. So here's where that positive mental attitude in the face of adversity is going to come in handy, all right? We begin by measuring. You want to measure the long side and the narrow side of your paper. And I've got a funky ruler that doesn't start with the number 1. And write those numbers down. Don't just like measure it and say, oh, great, it's 40, and then forget.
Wait, and choose one.
Whichever works best. I'm using centimeters. So I have 54 on the long end. And 39 and a half on the short end. All right, did you get it measured? Did you write the numbers down? Anywhere on the piece of paper is fine. Again, this is exercise, all right? We're doing this so that we learn how it works. If you want, Catherine, you can move up here since you got such a large ruler. Might be easier. Catherine. Ooh, I didn't bring my phone, so I'm going to need somebody with super math skills. All right, who's got it measured? All right, yeah? Okay, great. Measured over there. Yes, Naeem? Yeah? Got it? Okay, so now I have found that... Yep, she got it. It is. It's exactly what we're going for. So I have found that most substrates, a substrate is the thing you paint or draw on. It's like a generic word for all the things you paint or draw on. Most substrates do not have the right dimensions for a golden section. So you got to figure it out by adjusting the size of your paper or your canvas or your board or something like that. Here's how it works. I have found that the right proportion for your substrate tends to be a very long triangle. So that means that the long side of our paper is not long enough for the short side. So what we have to do is figure out the right dimension of the short side to fit the long side because there's no making the paper longer. So what we do is take your measurement from the long side, mine's 54, and divide it by 1.619. All right? Show the people at home. Now, your paper may be a little bit of a different dimension, so don't just do exactly what I'm doing. Actually, take the long side of your paper, divide it by 1.619. Hopefully, I get turned around on this again and again. All right, and I have, hey, Sheldon, would you divide 54 by 1.619 for me, please? would you divide 54 by 1.619? What do you get? 33.3539.
222.
222. That's all right. We're going to leave it at that. All right, everybody. So I'm going to round up to 33.3. What's up?
I heard there's math going on in the art class. I didn't believe it.
You stumbled upon it.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. Did you lose a bet? Was it a bet
No.
for donuts?
No, it wasn't a bet.
Can I have some of the donuts?
Yes, you can have a donut.
All right, excellent. What's up?
Well, I'm in my game design class right now, and we need testees. So you guys are testers.
All right.
We are testing you, so we need testers, but you guys are definitely in lesson. So
Yeah.
if there is a time, either later today or later this class or next class,
All right.
it's just I won't remember, and you won't remember what class is during this class.
All right.
I'll be like,
All right. I'll remember it's these kids. So maybe later in the week we have time. That work?
yeah, thank you.
Okay, great.
Emily, too.
All right. So, all right. Ready? Now here's where it gets tricky, but it gets important. All right. Take the short side of your paper. All right. The short side of your paper. Mine is 39.5. Write that number down. Mine is 39.5. That's the measurement of the short side of the paper.
Wait, so our short side minus 39.
No. My short side is 39. All right?
So what?
Now, you take the quotient of the long side divided by 1.619. So mine is 33.3. I'm going to write down a label here. Short side. Quotient. I don't know how to spell quotient. Quotient of long divided by 1.619. All right. And you subtract the smaller number from the larger number. Now wait, I'll come around and show you. All right? So have a look, Georgia. You see? So this is my long side. This is the quotient. This is my short side. This is the quotient of the long side divided by 619. This number is the quotient of that math problem. All right? All right, look, it's confusing, I know, right? And it's a lot of words that sound the same. All right, so long side divided by 6.19 gives me 33 and a third. And I'm subtracting 33 and a third from the long side. All right, so here's the difference. It's the difference, right? Are you getting it? Are you looking? You get it, ladies?
Wait, so in your case, is it
Yeah. Hi. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. All right, let me make sure everybody gets there. All right, you see how I got it? Everybody have a look here. So I took this long measurement divided by 1.619, and I got 33 and a third. Then I take this, the short side, right, it's 39.5, and then I'm going to subtract that quotient from it. You should get a number. A positive number. Okay? Now I have to go do some math over here. We're almost to the easy part. Everybody's keeping their positive mental attitude? It's 6. You're right. Roughly 6. All right, so mine's 6.2. Looks like I wrote 62. It's not what I meant to write. All right. One more division problem here. All right. Now divide. All right, this is a mouthful. You ready? Now divide the difference of the short side subtracted from the quotient of the long side and divided by 1.619. A lot of numbers here, right? Divide that difference. That's what I'm getting. So the difference of the short side and the quotient of the long side divided by 1.619. Mine gave me 6.2. Divide that in half. So it'll be 3.1 in my case. Yes, as soon as I do the math, you can. So mine is 3.1. Wait, Cherry. I know, it's tricky, right? It turns your brain around in circles. It's like, I did better with French than I do with this. What I really want you to do is rather than have one big side, divide this in half a little bit here. All right, give me a moment. Let me get them going, all right? All right, so wait, did you divide the long side by 1.619?
I swear it's like the same person.
Okay, you got what? 5 point.
No, you got to
Divide 5.4 by 2. Yeah. And then I'll tell you. I'll tell everybody at the same time. Okay. Did we get that number? Did we get the difference of the short side and the quotient of the long side divided by 1.619? Everybody's got it? I know just how you're feeling. All right, now you get to use your ruler again. So my number, after all that math, my number is 3.1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 3.1 centimeters from the top and from the bottom. All right? And I'm going to make a line to guide my design here. So I'll show you. And, I'm just going to do 3. Now here's something, all you kids, that's going to happen after a while. As we get smaller, the design becomes more imprecise. All right, so have a look. Check it out, right? So I put a border on the top of 3 centimeters each. The reason I did that is because now my frame, my picture plane, which will be in between these 2 lines and all across left to right, is the right dimension for plotting a golden section. The rest becomes easy, kind of, but it still turns your brain around in a little bit. So do make sure that you have that border drawn in there. And I'm going to come around and have a look-see. Yes, you may. All right, let's check it out. So this is your... Okay, so what's the number? 2 point. Okay, so do your best to get 2.65 top. Oh, I see. You have the one without numbers on it. You can. Here's what's going to happen: is it'll get a little imprecise after a while, but it should get to the point where it's useful. You got it, Nate? The same. Okay. We should all have things that are pretty simple. Yeah? Okay, don't forget to do it on the bottom too, honey. Did you start over? Okay. Oh, I see. You're just preparing to draw the line. All right. Hey, all right. That's pretty good. Did you cut your hair, Sally? All right. All right, almost there. Pretty that? You have confusion here. Let's hear. Yes, but we're going to draw a little bit here and a little bit there. So what you need to do is divide this in half, right? So that you have even top and bottom. In reality, you can just do it in 6, and then you can work with this kind of space if you want. All right, you got it? Here, move this further away so it's not as much. Don't need to reach out here for you. Just do it once. Just do it once for us. And then that way that can help you decide later on. Alright, so 5.4 is divided by 2 as well. 2.7. So measure 2.7 here, 2.7 there, for all lines, and then that's where you go. Dig it? How are we doing, everybody? We're almost there. Almost there. Are you having fun yet? I had to go and put that in the color. Don't remember, this is a part of your creative fun, and I'm going to show you some cool things when we're done doing this. It's not. It's not. And if you don't do it all the time, you have to re-study it. Although, it's my argument that you don't always have to exactly plot it. The goal is you plot it a couple of times so you get a feel for where that area is, and then you can use it. All right, did we get it? Oh, we're still waiting on Joyce. You got it, Catherine? But it gets, Sally, it gets easier from here on in.
Really?
Promise. All right, are we ready? Okay, so check it out. This bit is important. It's all important. How many times have I said that? Right? All right, so we're working with the area inside these margins. So the next measurement I'm going to tell you to make will not be from the corner of the paper to the corner of the paper. It will be inside the margins that we make. All right? So now, measure again the short side inside the margins. It should be the same as that quotient that you got from before when you divided the long side by 1.619. Mine's mostly that. Mine's pretty close. Mine's like 33.5 instead of a third. But we're going to go with it. All right. Now, turn your paper long ways. Yep. Well, no, I'm keeping with my lines up. And just like we did on the graph paper, only in reverse, we're going to make a square. So a square, all the sides are equal, right? So we know that between our margins, for me, it's 33.5, right? For you, it's whatever it is. Measure inside that margin to 33.5 if you're Mr. Allen. Draw yourself a square. And you should have a square and a rectangle. All right, ready? Check it out. Here's my square and rectangle. Can you see over there? I have a square and a rectangle. What? What's going on? Wait. I know.
Is it just a line in the random of the...
Well, as long as it's a square, as long as this dimension makes a square, then yes, that's the right line. So measure between here and then turn that into a square. So like, if this is 10, or in your case it's what, 33.7? So then you should measure 33.7 here. 33.7, 33.7. A square. All the sides of the same length. How you doing over there, Stella? Yeah? How's your friend Sally? Is she keeping it together? How about Jessica? Jessica always quiet one. You got it, Georgia? You made a square? Not yet. Alright, Jessica's got it. Alright, Aaron's getting close. Did you make the square? Did you get to that? You're waiting on the ruler. You're the same, so you're just waiting on the ruler? But you have a ruler. Okay, so measure between here and here. Here and here. Alright, so then here. Okay, measure from here to here. What's that mean? All right, almost there. We're doing all right. We're feeling good. Yeah? Can I move on to the next step? No? Don't throw it away. Oh, yeah, just make another one. Are we ready now? Can I go on to the next step? It's pretty easy. All right, here's where it gets easy. Promise. Now you have a square and a rectangle. Measure the short side of the rectangle. Mine's 21. All right, and do the same thing. Make a square. So measure, once you know the number of the short side of your rectangle, do like we just did with the bigger one. Oh, middle-aged. And make yourself a smaller square and a rectangle. Oh, see? Smaller square and a rectangle.
Does it matter if it's like
Right now it doesn't, because you can turn the paper back and forth, and it's going to be, but the next one we do it will matter, or you'll end up putting your section over here. You don't want that. Did you see over there? Yeah? Yes? That's a yes? Got it? You did it? All right, looks pretty good. Yeah? All right. So, we're going to, yeah, what's that? All right. We got a square and a rectangle and a square. Is that a yes? Oh, we're still drawing. We're still drawing. I can do a little bit. A square and a rectangle and a square. He's on to it. He knows what's happening next. Good job. All right, everybody. One of your classmates figured it out. Now check this out. This is important. This is the last thing you have to pay really close attention to, or it'll end up goofed up. You're going for moving towards ever-increasing small areas at that junction. Really, if you wanted to really just like go ahead and plot out your composition, you could be rest assured that if you put the interesting business end of your subject matter right here, you'd be pretty rest assured that you got it in the right spot to hit the golden section. But we're going to keep going just for fun. All right? So, measure the short side of your rectangle. Mine's 13. And you want to make sure that you put your square on the outside of your picture plane. All right, so can you see? Look, I have made another square and a rectangle. But I made sure that I'm making the square on the outside. The rectangle is on the inside because we're going to do another square and a rectangle, then another square and a rectangle. And you want to be moving towards this point, the inside of your picture plane, not this way. If you did the square here, then your next square would be over there, right? So this is that kind of tricky bit where you got to point it in the right direction. And then I'm going to do a couple more here, and then I'm going to let you play around with it. So mine's now 8. All right, so check it out. There's my next square and rectangle. And I'm going to keep going in. I'm actually going to just go in one more because I don't need everything like perfectly perfect. Mine's 5. How is this? Wow, I totally Fibonacci'd this one. And then 3. How about that? All right, I'm going to come around and show you what I got. Because I just went in and in and in and in and in. Perfect. Yep. Except you, yeah, you get the right idea. No, that's about no, because you're doing it right. Right? You see how I got it? Okay, so now make your square here. Right? So measure this side. Then make a square on the outside, right? So that your rectangle's on the inside. Yeah, you got it. Keep going. It's kind of funky. After you get a few, you can just stop. Don't make your square, make your square on the outside. So that your rectangle's on the inside. No, you don't have to. You just have to adjust your brain. So So this is how many? 14? So measure 14 from the outside. That's great. Yeah, the measurements sometimes get a little off. It happens. You see how I got it? Yeah, you want to use my ruler? So there's an extra ruler over there.
This whole thing is slanted.
You're welcome.
Oh, what did she say?
All right, so once you got a couple few, is my drawing over here? All right, check this out. I'm going to show you my drawing. First, I'm going to put it in front of the video. It's all right. It's all right. You did the exercise. So, as I said, that spot, that golden section, is what it's called, is sort of a sweet spot that feels comfortable when we look at it. It's also where our eye is naturally drawn. So, as you're making paintings, as you're designing paintings, if you want to elicit that comfortable, harmonious feeling in your viewer, one of the ways, aside, in addition to color, is to situate the business, the important end, the interesting part of your image in this corner. Or if you're reading it this way, in this corner. Or if you're reading it that way, in this corner. Check it out. I made a drawing here where I did exactly that. It's a complex drawing. I'll come around and show you. But I put the figure's eye. I thought the eye would be the part that I want people to look. So I put the figure's eye right up in that golden section. And I wanted this figure to be the most important. So I put this figure in that part of the drawing. Can you see? Can you see where I drew this first? Come around here, did you see, ladies? Yeah? I'm coming around. So, I'm going to show you some slides, and then after I'm done showing you some slides, there won't be a whole lot of time left, but I'm going to show you some resources. We've seen this one before. I'm going to give you some resources, and you'll have the rest of the class to play with your compositions, right? So give me a moment just to get the projector on and the screen lowered. And turn on Mr. Projector.